The winds had changed. For the first time in centuries, Zephyra felt something stir, faint, like a pulse beneath the earth. In her dreams, she saw flames devouring marble, waves swallowing cities, and a young man standing in the center of it all, his eyes reflecting the light of both dawn and ruin. The next morning, she left Elysian alone. The others tried to stop her. Ares shouted, "You cannot go among them. They will see you for what you are." But Zephyra only replied, "They no longer see. They no longer believe. That is why I must." She traveled across barren lands, through villages built upon the bones of old temples, past markets where the faces of gods were sold as cheap souvenirs. Everywhere she looked, their names had become symbols or jokes. By the time she reached Delphi, the once sacred mountain had turned to dust. The oracle's cave, where voices once spoke from the earth, now lay silent. And there, among the ruins, she found him. Lycus, he was barely 20, a mason's apprentice, strong from labor, quiet by nature. Yet his eyes, gray as stormlight, carried something ancient. He was cleaning the stones of an old altar when Zephyra approached. "Do you know whose temple this was?" she asked. He smiled faintly. "A ruin. They say it belonged to the gods once, but that's just a story." Zephyra looked at him for a long moment. "Stories are what keep the dead alive." He laughed softly, shaking his head. "You speak like the priests my mother used to follow." She said the wind spoke her name. "The wind speaks more than names," Zephyra said quietly. "What did she call you, child?" "Lycus," he answered, "son of no one." Zephyra's breath caught. The name, the sound of it, carried power. "Your mother," she said slowly. "What was her name?" He hesitated. "Althea. She died when I was small. They said she was strange." Zephyra closed her eyes. She remembered that name. Althea had once served as her oracle, a woman chosen by the winds to carry messages between gods and men. But she had disappeared long ago, fleeing Elysian with the child she bore in secret. Now the truth was before her. Lycus, the half-blood, the bridge between worlds. That night, the sky turned red. Across Greece, tremors split the earth. Old tombs cracked open. Fishermen near the coast swore the sea whispered with voices. The air thickened with something unseen. Not wind, not storm, but memory. In Elysian, Ares felt it first. His sword, long silent, began to hum with the echo of war. Athena's scrolls unrolled themselves, ink bleeding into new patterns. Poseidon stood at the dry spring and watched as water, for the first time in centuries, began to rise from the ground. The old powers were awakening, drawn to the blood of Lycus. But not all who stirred were gods. Deep beneath Mount Othrys, the mountain that had once imprisoned the Titans, a crack split the stone. From within, a whisper seeped into the night. Slow, rhythmic, ancient. "They have forgotten me, but I remember." The people who lived near the mountain reported strange tremors. Animals fled, and those who dared climb too high claimed to see a faint red glow deep inside the rock, like a beating heart. Back in Delphi, Zephyra watched as the boy stood before the altar. His hands shook as he traced the symbols cut into the stone, symbols older than language. When he spoke, his voice sounded both young and eternal. "I dreamed of a door," he said. "It opened beneath the sea. I saw faces, yours among them." Zephyra's voice trembled. "What did you see behind the door?" He looked at her, and his answer was barely a whisper. "Chains. Breaking." A gust of cold wind tore through the ruins. The ground shook, and the altar cracked in two. A sound like thunder rolled across the valley, though the sky was clear. Zephyra grabbed his arm. "You must not dream again. Do you hear me? The old ones are waking." But it was too late. The mark of the fates had already appeared on his skin, a faint spiral glowing beneath his wrist, pulsing with each beat of his heart. In the distance, the sea began to rise against the shore, as if answering a call it could no longer resist. And far away, buried in the dark beneath Mount Othris, a massive stone hand moved for the first time in 3,000 years. The Titans were no longer asleep. To be continued in Part 3.